some of my favorites as well, you know. I guess one of my favorites of all time is Lonesome Dove and The Godfather, and then with Horton Foote and when I played the country singer in that. We used to go to Cromwell's drugstore in New York, me, Gene Hackman, and Dustin Hoffman, and we'd once a week and talk for like 25 minutes to half an hour. If we mentioned Brando's name once, we mentioned it 50 times. So he was kind of like our hero, our godfather, you know. He was really a very unique guy. So, we kind of looked up to him and so forth and so on.
Welcome to Successful Living with Bill Knapik. Every week we talk with interesting people in a variety of professions, and along the way, get ideas to enhance success in all categories of your life. Successful Living with Bill Knapik starts right now. And here's your host, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show, Successful Living with Bill Knapik, and today, Successful Living with Robert Duvall. That's right, this is our part 2 of the interview with Robert Duvall. Part 1 was last week. So if you missed that, just go to radiobill.net. That's radiobill.net, where you can go to the YouTube channel. Go there. You'll hear and see the interview with Robert Duvall, Part 1. Today is Part 2. Mr. Duvall was so kind and generous with his time, a fascinating individual. You'll get to hear Part 2 of the interview with Robert Duvall on Successful Living with Bill Knapik begins right now. So these days, you're having a great time. You're still working. Give us an idea. Why do you want to work?
Not a lot. Well, there was a wonderful film in Texas, but all the producers screwed it up and never could get the money. And it was written by 2 writers in Texas about a little girl during the post-Civil War and her brother. And her mother's killed by a mountain lion. She's looking to spend her younger years and her life to find and kill that mountain lion. It's a terrific script, but they can't get the money. So now, while we're trying to do that, Ed Harris calls me with a terrific novel called The Plowman that we had tried to get the rights to, but he had got it. And then a year or so later, he got it. He called 3 years later. He called and said he wanted me to do it. So, but I don't know if they can get the money for that. It's a terrific part, a lead. I'm not looking to play leads. But if the right thing does come along, I just will try to get the energy. And as my father, as a military man, said, a nap during the day is an equal strain on all parts. So I like me. When I get off the phone with you, I'll probably catch a few winks.
You mentioned you have 2 dogs. Tell us about the dogs.
Oh, the dogs are great. They're Blue in Virginia. They're blue heelers. The Australian dogs, which they're a mix to get that breed. I think some Dalmatian, some shepherd dog, but half of them are dingo, which is like a coyote. They're terrific. They love me, but they worship Luciana. She can't move around without them, but they're great. They're out of the same litter, which you're not supposed to do, but they do pretty good there. They do pretty good. We call them our savages. They're great. It's great to have pets.
It really is. In fact, as we talk, I have 2 pets that are already on their nap right now. You've had an active career, but is there anything that you're doing from a success standpoint in terms of staying in shape to be able to enjoy your career and all these things?
I do that Pilates twice a week with a woman over the internet thing, and then I swim 2, 3, 4 times a week. Just try to get rest and and enjoy life, and be grateful and have gratitude for what I've been able to do and what a few things that are left,
We're talking with the one and only Robert Duvall, one of my favorite actors. Robert, when you first started in those early years, now you live on the East Coast, I understand, I think in Virginia, but when you first started, right. I guess when people start, you have to kind of be where the action is. Did you go to Hollywood? Did you start in California? Or how did you
I started in New York, and you do an off-Broadway play, but the unions afford you, if you give notice, to be able to go get out with a few days' notice and do TV and then come back in. You can't do that with a Broadway play, but with the off-Broadway, you could do that. So I'd go out to California and go back to New York and do some TV, come back, back and forth. And then I did off-Broadway plays in New York, too, and Summer Theater. Broadway, and one of my favorite parts ever was, it's not recorded, was American Buffalo, David Mamet's play on Broadway. That my dear friend Ulu Brospard, the director, he directed that. It was a big success in New York. That was one of my favorite performances. I don't read reviews usually, good or bad, because somebody's always got something good to say. Maybe they're also bad to say. But I guess they say the best reviews I've got were American Buffalo on Broadway and Lonesome Dove, the miniseries on TV.
That was incredible as well. And people remember you when I mentioned your name that I was going to talk to you. It was interesting, the movies that they brought forth or the projects that you've had in Lonesome Dove. Maybe because I'm here in Texas, they really like your cowboy roles.
Well, Hank Whitman is a good friend of mine. He's the ex-head of the Texas Rangers. When he was in the Rangers, they gave me an honorary ranger, I think, through the governor and everything. I think Tommy Lee Jones, too. But the night I was there was supposedly for me. And a woman came up to me, and in Texas and other places, but especially Texas, they gather as families once a year and watch Lonesome Dove. And her family did that. And she said, I would not allow my daughter's fiancé to marry into the family until he had seen Lonesome Dove. So that's a pretty good compliment for the whole project, It was a great experience.
It's a requirement. Yeah. Well, one of the other things I wonder about in terms of acting, when I watch a movie, I've been watching yours lately, how do actors remember all the lines? You talk about developing the character and not developing it in a way where you just read the script and then you let it happen, sort of. But how do you memorize the lines? I've never been able to memorize stuff. What's the trick, or what do you use?
You always try to get it. You have them down pat, so you can be offhand with them. It's interesting to be offhand, and then I like to improvise too, but usually you don't improvise. If the script's that good, you don't improvise. But if there's a little breathing room, then sometimes the directors let you improvise. I know I can't memorize like I used to, but I used to do like 8 plays a summer, 1 a week. So you go in there doing one, and you have to learn the lines for the next week, and then one after. So in those days I could do that. I couldn't do that now. When I was younger, I could do that pretty good, But, that's not necessarily the hard part. The hard part is once you get them down, you just stay in the moment. Between action and cut, be in the moment, so to speak. Yeah.
In 1969, True Grit, I watched the end of that on YouTube again. There you were with John Wayne, and then I just saw it a couple days ago, and I kind of
not one of my favorites, but the movie was okay, but it wasn't a great experience for me. It's okay, yeah. But it was, he was good in that, John Wayne, really good, really good.
Well, that ending where I guess you both shot each other.
Right. Well, he had he's close up. He had a saddle on a 2x4 in the back of a pickup truck. Always try to get a good horse in the movies. Try to get a good horse.
You've ridden a lot of horses. Do you do that in real life outside of the movies? Do you like horses?
Well, I did. Not. I like what I like more than anything, and I can only do it on a limited thing. Not a big scale. Was jumping horses. Jumping horses and American football are my 2 favorite sports to watch. So when we go to Florida in the wintertime, it's the longest horse show in the world. They said they come from all over Europe and South America, women competing with the men in show jumping. That's my favorite. I love that, but I could never do it on that level,
That's beautiful.
But I did it on a certain way. And when I did Lonesome Dove, I did that. I got with Rodney Jenkins for one day. He's one of the greatest horsemen ever in America, jumping horse rider, He would be like the Casey Tibbs of jumping horse riders. And he put me with a woman named Kitty Beveridge up here who was a hunter rider. And I'd go over there and we'd, jump the horses and I'd ride a couple hours a day before Lonesome Dove, without stirrups and to get my seat really down. because, I had initially been introduced to horses on my uncle's ranch in northern Montana at the end of World War II. He had a big cattle and sheep ranch there. And so, that's where I first got introduced to cowboys and so forth. I may come to Texas to do a scene, maybe. It's not been set, with Buster Wells, the great cutting horse rider. He trained all the horses on the King Ranch, and he was a twice world champion. So they may do that and try to connect it with this thing, Yellowstone, this Western. But I'm not quite sure if it's going to work yet. We'll see.
We're talking with Robert Duvall. Mr. Duvall, can we talk again just a little bit about The Godfather?
Yeah, that was great. Whenever I tune in sometimes, I've done it a couple of times right when it started, Godfather 2. I said, let me watch it a little bit. I watched the whole thing. They both are great, but Godfather 2 is just so wonderful. Just, oh, my God. Coppola was just great good to work with. Let me say real quick. I went into the dining area on Lonesome Dove. I said, boys, we're making the Godfather of Westerns.
That's right. That is so well put.
I was fortunate to be in two of the biggest film things of the end of the 20th century, Godfather 1 and 2 and Lonesome Dove.
Godfather 1, when you all were doing this project, did you have any idea it was going to be so gigantic and so well accepted?
We had a sense. The two times I've had that were that and Lonesome Dove. Those are the two times I've had that. These are going to be pretty big movies, big experiences and big movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, people are enjoying that for these many, many decades and will for a long time to come. There's no doubt about that. And if we can go just a couple more minutes, I don't want to take too much time, but a lot of realtors listen to this show, and you are no doubt a major celebrity. And through the years, I guess you've purchased and bought real estate in different places. When you choose a realtor, I got to ask this question. When you choose a realtor or have chosen realtors for your various properties through the years, what do you look for in a realtor?
Well, somebody give me a good piece of property. I got this place where I live now. It's fantastic. The Jim Wiley here in Northern Virginia, Jim and Lynn Wiley, they were real estate people, found this place for me. And I was in Africa on some kind of safari, and they put me to the top of the list. And my brother was his wife was into real estate. My brother was my lawyer then from Virginia, and he said, well, don't worry about it. And his wife said, no, you should. This is a great piece of property. He's got to grab it quick. And I did, through Jim Wiley, who in real estate. He was here in Virginia. There's a great piece of property, phenomenal. Just phenomenal. We put it, in easement and all that stuff to try to preserve the land, My wife said for her, she's from Argentina, but she's a citizen now. She said for her, Virginia is the last station before heaven, which is nice. So, but we do love Texas. My mother's people were from New Boston, Texas, over there in eastern Texas, way over east, near Texarkana, But I'm on the phone 7 days a week with Rooster McConaughey, that's Matthew McConaughey's older brother, and his good friend Butch from they're crazy guys, man. I'm constantly with them on the phone, and we visit. And they came to Florida when I was there, and come up here. I visit their place when I'm in Texas. Those guys, so they're terrific guys, And of course, Danny. Not lately, but when I used to go to Argentina, we'd stop at Danny's and he gets a plane from Houston down to Argentina. But Danny's got that beautiful house. Have you seen his house?
I have not seen it, but when I talked to him this week, he said that you haven't been there in a while, and that he has the Robert Duvall Theater and the Robert Duvall Suite.
And he's got all those guns. And then a friend of mine is General Tees. He was in Vietnam and also Iraq. When he goes to visit Danny puts a machine gun in his bedroom to make him feel at home. Oh, my God. Yeah, Danny's a character. He's got a great house and a great screening room. He loves the Three Stooges. He watches the Three Stooges in his film room there. But Danny, I've known Danny a long, long time. He's a real, he licked cancer 3 times,
Yes. And for
Yeah,
those just tuning in, we're talking about Danny Davis right here, the owner of and CEO of Escapade Oil Company, a real Texas oil man. But yeah, like you said earlier, he's got 9 lives.
definitely. I think he had the virus. He got over that too,
Yes, he
But
did.
Danny, he's terrific. Yeah, but Danny years ago. Yeah.
Well,
But,
I've only known him for the past year or so, but again, thanks, as Danny's going to be listening to the show, thanks to Danny Davis for getting you on the show and being friends with you to make this.
He'll fall asleep. Listen to me talk.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but before we close things down, first of all, thank you again for your military service. Your service in entertainment has been awesome. I love all the stuff you're doing, and especially this last week, it has been a Robert Duvall marathon to see you in the many roles and the twinkle in your eye.
One of my favorite parts we did was from Horton Foote, the Texas playwright. He helped me with my career too, like Coppola did in another way. We did a play off Broadway, and we did a film called Tomorrow, a black and white film from a Faulkner short story. And Horton wrote that, it was and we filmed it on a farm in eastern Mississippi that had belonged to the grandfather of Tommy Wynette. And it was a nice little film, very different, very, very primitive, but nice. That was a film that I enjoyed doing it over in I guess it was Mississippi, close to the Texas border. Yeah.
Well, when you mentioned Danny's theater room here in Houston, what kind of, when you watch a movie, what do you have set up at your house to have I would think you have something nice.
No, I just watch it on a small screen or it's a TV screen. I don't go to the theater much anymore because the sound is not so good in theater. So I haven't been to a theater in a long time. So I just watch it on a TV screen.
And when does the 12 Mighty Orphans premiere, when people want to watch that?
I have no idea. It's a true story. It's a true story. I didn't realize that Abraham Lincoln, both Roosevelts, they're all Masons. And that's what this that orphanage was built on that. And it's a true story. And a couple of those guys that played on that team, 2 of them ended up in the NFL. It's nice. And the gentleman that directed did a nice job. It's just nice. We went down just for a day. We just filmed for a day because I had a small part. We improvised it, and it was very nice being there because good feeling. Rooster McConaughey, his little daughter, Maggie, she played my granddaughter. And I'm supposed to be like a guy that had a lot of money to help form this orphanage, but it was a true place, a true story.
Wow!
And it was nice. It's a nice thing.
Before we close the show out, what else would you like people to know that maybe we didn't talk about? Anything else?
I don't know. We talked a lot. I don't know what do people like to hear. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think they like to hear you, and of all the qualities you have, your voice is super awesome too. As I was watching again the 7 Days in Utopia, I was thinking, man, Robert Duvall has so many qualities, and that voice is tremendous.
That was nice. We did it on Wanda Waters' place, and that horse I rode in that just a little bit. I rode in another movie. It's a great horse. I mean, his horse was like a dog, a stallion. But his son-in-law, Lou Waters' son-in-law, broke that horse, and just in one afternoon went over and started herding cattle with it. And he's been in a lot of these showcases for varied rodeo work. Wild Card was the name of the horse. What a horse! My God! Beautiful. Yeah, the stallion that was just like a horse from the old world, from the Spanish world,
Well, when that guy, when you first met the character after you rode his car off through your fence in 7 Days in Utopia, I forget what the line was, something about you're not too good at driving or you're a good driver, something. But
that
was super.
That was nice working on Blue Waters property down there. Just lovely people in Utopia. What's the name? Is that Utopia, Texas, right?
Utopia, Texas.
That's a wonderful place. Lovely people, yeah. We go back and visit them periodically. They're open-armed.
Wow.
They're so gracious in their hospitality. Terrific people. Yeah.
Wow, it looks like a beautiful place, and we're talking with Robert Duvall. I just got to say once again, thank you so much for taking this much time. We thank Danny Davis for putting this together. Thank you for the years of entertainment. I'll be continuing my Robert Duvall marathon here for probably a couple weeks from now. If you ever get to Houston, I'm going to make sure that Danny, that I get to meet you, and certainly.
Well, yeah, but he has terrific parties at his place. You have 200 or 300 people in there. It's such a big house. It's got like 3 or 4 bars in there and everything. It's an amazing place he's got in there.
Well,
so yeah, we'll have a little party maybe.
That
for sure.
We should do that. I will definitely encourage Danny for that. I don't know if he'll listen to me, but no doubt about that. And all the best, Robert Duvall, for your family out there in Virginia, enjoying probably some better weather, or at least cooler weather up there.
Yeah.
And your 2 puppies, and I hope to meet you someday. In the meantime, I'll be watching your stuff, and I think people listening are going to get right on Amazon Prime and check you out even more.
Well, thank you, sir. Nice talking with you, and we love visiting Texas. Going down there with the Perini Steakhouse in Buffalo Gap is a terrific restaurant that Billy Bob Thornton, it's still his favorite restaurant. I told Waylon Jennings about it. He would always put his bus in there to eat at his Perini Steak Ranch in Buffalo Gap. Terrific food if you're ever out that way.
I will check that out. And once again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye. There you go. That was part 2 of our interview with Robert Duvall. You can access part 1 at my website, radiobill.net. That's radiobill.net. Most of all, thank you, Mr. Duvall, for being on the show and for being so nice and so generous with your time. Thank you, Danny Davis, for making the interview possible, for connecting us to Mr. Duvall. Thank you, Daisy Lang, for helping secure and schedule the interview. Awesome people all the way around. And thank you all for listening to Successful Living with Bill Knapik. Once again, if you missed part 1, you want to hear it again, or you want to hear this show again, just go to radiobill.net, and you'll find so many great things over there. It'll take you right to the YouTube channel. Once again, thank you, Mr. Duvall, Danny Davis, Daisy Lang. You guys are super awesome. And thank you all for listening to Successful Living with Bill Knapik, and today with Robert Duvall, radiobill.net.